Think of a successful brand. It can be any brand. Do you see their ads on TV, as you surf the web, or hear ads about it on the radio when you're driving? Or maybe you see ads for this company as you flick through your favourite magazine. Now imagine if this brand you're thinking of never advertised on TV, on the internet, on the radio, or in your favourite magazine. What is the likelihood that you would even be aware of the brand? It's pretty low, right? In fact, theoretically, a company that does not advertise itself is destined to fail. This is where Amancio Ortega, founder of the clothing brand Zara, beat all odds and proved this theory wrong. In 1963, Ortega was dealt a bad hand. He owned a small lingerie factory in Spain and had a client cancel on a large order. However, Mr. Ortega was one of those optimistic guys who adhered to the phrase, "Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about dancing in the rain." So instead of letting this affect his business, under parent company Inditex, he ingeniously opened up his own shop to get rid of all the excess stock and called it Zara. He listened to customers' wants and needs and designed clothes that appealed to them, and to this day, Zara is known for its quick response to customers' wants and needs. The store's clothing range is always changing every 2 weeks to keep up with trends and provides fashionistas in 85 different countries great quality products at budget prices. To this day, quality is a priority. 49% of Zara's clothing is made in Spain, Portugal and Morocco, 14% in Italy and Turkey, and only 35% of its basic clothing is made in Asia, whereas Gap and other competitors mainly manufacture clothing in Asia where labour is cheap, but quality is compromised. Zara started off in Europe and is now entering new markets such as Asia, Australia, and the United States. Since we are in the US, we are going to focus on the strategies Zara uses to attract the target market and suggest ways in which Zara could increase its market share in the US. After all, only 44 stores exist in the United States in comparison with Swedish company H&M, which has a whopping 233 stores. It definitely looks like Zara could do with some consumer behaviour 134A class problem zapping.
Social media is an important aspect of marketing. Presence on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and other social networking sites is important. And it is not the substitute for social media advertising. There are other things as well. But social media ads such as posts on Facebook, tweets on Twitter, and blogging are part of a good mix. So for social media to convince the top decision makers, these are some of the things that would really impress them. The word of mouth marketing is clearly the #1 strategy that influences social responses, particularly reviews and ratings. Taking my own example into consideration, I would not go to watch a movie which has bad ratings, or I would not go to a store to buy clothes if the reviews for that store are not good.
Hey, you look pretty today.
Thanks.
What is this?
Zara. It's so amazing. What are you doing? Oh, looking for clothing. My best clothes. You should go to Zara. Look at this. This is from Zara. Best sequins. My jeans are from Zara. Onion sequins on their blazer. And hey girl! Hey! What's going on? Have a birthday party. You do? Yeah, but I don't know what to wear it. My boots are from Zara. My top's from Zara. And have you ever heard of a clothing brand? It's frustrating. Do you want to look at my Zara closet? Wow, look, there are a million sequins on this blazer.
Oh, is it?
Everything's from Zara. You like it? I got sequins. It's so good quality. Quality. Yeah, it's like pretty. Best quality. Look at the sparkle. It was only like $10. That has good prices. $10. Look sequins on my dress. Earrings from Zara. So good quality. We can go. Let's start tomorrow.
There is one problem though. It's not always easy to find the right audience by word of mouth. It can also reach the wrong audience. A classic example of that is the battle between Apple and Android fans. Social media sites have created a lot of excitement. In 2012 alone, investments are projected to go beyond $8 billion. The people at the top are convinced that the social media will grow substantially in the coming future. Now, the topic of talk today is Zara. Zara currently relies largely on word of mouth for the publicity of its brand. Zara doesn't spend a lot of money on advertising. On average, only 35% of the word of mouth buzz that is generated by the company hits the target customers, rather than just friends of the people who talk about the brand. Secondarily, it is a nightmare to get fans and followers to talk about a specific product or service that you have. Almost half of the social media advertisers aren't sure that they can prevent people from saying negative things about their product, service, or promotions. Third, advertisers do not have an adequate tool or way to calculate the return of investment in social media advertising, so they don't know where their money is going, but it seems to work some way. So, moving on this vehicle of social media, advertisers try to drive sales of their products and fulfill their marketing goals. Now, you must be thinking what these marketing goals are, which we are referring to. Well, these goals are divided primarily into 5 categories. The number 1 is word of mouth, which we talked about right now. Brand strengthening. It comes after word of mouth. After people start talking about your brand, it gets popular. That's what's called brand strengthening. Increasing direct response. Customer relationship management, very important. And inbound customer communication. In order for Zara to penetrate the American market, what do they need? They need to reach the target audience. Secondly, Zara needs to think how and why it's investing in social media, which is very important these days. But if they are investing for brand and word of mouth, they need to think about what kind of word of mouth they're investing in. That is reviews, ratings. Now, say for example, they've invested in word of mouth. They've done their part of advertising or marketing. Now, say for example, people are talking about them. They need to decide what is the outline of this conversation they want to be in. For example, do they want to be part of the passive subject of the chatter, or do they want to be direct without dominating those conversations? Now, this is something they need to think about as well. Once those online conversations take place, Zara needs to think about how that word of mouth gets integrated into an overall brand campaign, which gets the customer to actually come to their store and buy their product. And once that word of mouth is integrated into the brand campaign, they need to think of ways to measure the impact of social media efforts within their overall campaign, which would help them calculate the return of investment, though there's no specific tool. But after that marketing campaign, whatever they get back is a return for them.
Zara's clever marketing strategies take advantage of the consumer's mind and advertise subliminally. The brand opens stores specifically in prestigious areas with high footfall and high rent. By bringing in the consumer choice process, having a positive shopping experience increases the consumer's motivation to buy from Zara. Zara also provides spacious minimalistic stores which also promote a peaceful and pleasant shopping experience. Coupled with the store's location in high-end locations, consumers relate Zara to high-end clothing. This impacts their likelihood to purchase and even walk into the store, as they feel they have an affinity with that elite brand image, which will be a good look for them. This encourages the effective choice process. This theory basically explains how someone is more likely to buy from a company that makes them look cool rather than a cheap unknown brand, as this is less impressive to buy from or even walk into the store of. Although this has proved very effective for Zara, Zara could still increase its market potential by employing other advertising strategies, since the US is a very competitive market.
Now moving on to brand image. Usually brands are associated not only with the athletes who represent them, but also the commercials that help advertise these brands. Zara, on the other hand, chooses not to advertise. But looking at their website and their shops, one can clearly see that they wish to offer a clean-cut, easy way to appease fashion customers. Zara is an international brand, and in the eyes of the American consumer, that is a disadvantage, because most Americans are global agnostics, which means they don't really care for international brands. When Americans think of Zara, they think of a company which produces clothing that is too small or that is ill-fitted. Consumers in America also have a mental image of a company that has a short shelf life, that does not set the current fashion trend, it follows the opinion of the consumer. Also in the US, the customers are not as fashion-forward as those in Europe. So the globalization strategy that Zara wishes to utilize will not cater to the needs of the American consumers. How should this problem be solved? Instead of betting on tomorrow's hot look, Zara waits and sees what customers are actually buying, and they make that product. While other companies are stuck with unwanted stock, Zara is able to sell at full price. I think that is a positive aspect because it appeals to consumer needs. They're making what the consumers want. For the American market, there should be a longer shelf life, as research has shown that Americans are less trendy than Europeans, so they don't really care to be fashion forward. They favor comfort over style. To address these problems, simply add time to the shelf life of items in the US. This will also cut down on the cost of goods for companies and help them increase the profit margin. Now we have an exclusive interview with Amancio Ortega, the chairman of Inditex Group. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, Mr. Ortega. You're welcome. In the past, you had never given any interviews, so this is your first time doing one, correct? Yes. Why are you such a private man? Well, when you are well known, being in the spotlight can be a hassle. I'd like to keep myself out of the public eye and manage my company, as well as my life. We know about your humble beginnings, how you never attended higher education and worked in a textile field. Tell us about your revelation and what led you to start a clothing company. After becoming manager of a local clothing shop, I discovered that only wealthy individuals could afford to purchase fine clothing, and I became even more determined to make quality clothes accessible to everyone. As a result, I started making my own products, purchasing cheaper fabric from Barcelona and selling good quality, cheaper products to local stores. When I was 27, I started Confecciones Goa, a company that made and sold fine bathrobes. Amazing. So your first retail store was called Zara, correct? Yes. We know you never advertise. How do you get your product out there so that people know you exist? Simple. By providing a superior product that satisfies the needs of our clients. I'm sure you've heard of word of mouth advertising where people just tell their friends and family about a great product or experience. What is your take on this phenomenon? I feel like this is how we advertise and market. Since we do not advertise on television or over the radio, people just tell others about our products. What do you think people think of when they think of Zara? What sort of brand image do you want to portray? Hopefully a good one, ha ha ha. But we are a company that values the opinions of consumers. Although our products have a short shelf life, we are able to create products that consumers need and would buy. Mr. Ortega, do you think our suggestions are helpful? Well, yes, I understand the culture is different in America and around the world. This is something I will need to address. Thank you. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for your time, Mr. Ortega, and look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.
Sexy back, yeah. Them other boys don't know how to act, yeah.
I just love Zara.